Good evening and many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Caraba Avenue, and I am Answane Sonyasi. Here are the main news headlines. The Gambia has secured a pavilion for the first time at the Conference of Parties, COP, to directly showcase the country's climate change strategies and build relationships with other countries and partners. The Commissioner General of the Gambia Revenue Authority, Yankuba Dabo, has expressed confidence that the authority will achieve the government's 2023 $15.3 billion revenue target. The PF initiative under the Ask Bajan initiative, a community-led advocacy initiative in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, launched a collection of songs dedicated to advocating against sexual and gender-based violence as part of the 16 Days of Activism annual initiative. And in international news, in line with the laws of the ECOWAS Parliament, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Toure, presented to the ECOWAS Parliament on Thursday the report on the state of affairs in the ECOWAS community. Also in international news, some members of the ECOWAS Parliament under the auspices of concerned parliamentarians have called on the authority of ECOWAS heads of state and government to lift the ban on Niger. Stay tuned for more on these and other stories. And we now take a look at the news in detail. The Gambia has secured a pavilion for the first time at the Conference of Parties, COP, to directly showcase the country's climate change strategies and build relationships with other countries and partners. QTV's Jennifer Sonko is currently in Dubai covering the COP28 and engaged delegates on this development.
The pavilions are used during COP by parties to host events, showcase research and expertise, and have open informal discussions with COP attendees that visit the pavilion. Pavilions represents a party's culture, attitude to life on Earth, climate considerations, and respective national strategies to combat climate change. The Gambia's pavilion beautifully displays the Gambia's culture and global efforts to fight climate change. We engaged the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Rohi John Manjang.
Happy to say that with the pavilion, Gambia has already booked so many engagements, bilaterals, and also discussion when it comes to our successes and also our NDC. Good that a few months ago we've already prepared our NDC implementation plan to set a very, very robust strategy in terms of our negotiation and also partnering and discussing when it comes to activities in mitigating and building resilience and also on the part of adaptation for the Gambian community and the Gambian people as a whole and the sub-region in general.
Fatou Jeng, Youth Climate Advisor to the UN Secretary General, has been attending COP for the past 8 years as a Gambian without a pavilion from which to network with other Gambian delegates. This is her reaction to Gambia securing a pavilion during this COP.
It's really important as a country to also show a global or an international presence in these climate negotiations, because with our INDC in 2015, we were one of the 3 countries that actually has a really ambitious climate NDC. So that was really important for the Gambia. So having this kind of pavilions also will help us in another way to more or less continue to show our international presence at climate conferences beyond even COP, because having side pavilion or having pavilions in a way will make sure that innovations, approaches, and also activities that are actually being done at the local level is really, really brought forward at the international level, which is really crucial in the climate space.
The Vice President of the Gambia, Mohamed B.S. Jala, visited Gambia's pavilion and has engaged with Gambians since the start of the conference.
It's just to thank everybody for coming on behalf of His Excellency President. I think, like he says, wherever we are ambassadors of our country. So we have to know how we, comport ourselves. Technically, as Minister of Foreign Affairs has said, we don't have any doubts about your competence. I think you have demonstrated everywhere, and we are assured that definitely you will represent Gambia.
Gambia securing a pavilion at the COP28 is part of several other efforts towards the fight against climate change. We have to remember that the Gambia is fighting or dealing with consequences that they least contributed to when it comes to climate change related matters, considering the fact that we contribute to less than 0.01% of emissions globally. Now, countries are pledging when it comes to loss and damage, especially the host country, UAE. But the question now is, how easy or difficult is it going to be for countries like the Gambia as LDCs to access this particular finance to solve problems or damages that have already happened when it comes to windstorms, flooding, and the list goes on? Reporting for QTV News from UAE, Dubai, and Jerusalem.
Now, the Commissioner General of the Gambia Revenue Authority, Yankuba Dabo, has expressed confidence that the authority will achieve the government's 2023 $15.3 billion revenue target. He was speaking in a recent interview with QTV, during which he also revealed that the government has pegged next year's revenue target at $19 billion. More in this report. The GRA was established by an Act of Parliament in 2004 to act as an agent of the government, to administer, levy and collect revenue on behalf of the government, amongst other responsibilities, and as a leading national institution that prides itself on its commendable delivery record, the Gambia Revenue Authority is poised to meet its annual revenue target for 2023. As is customary at the end of each year, the government, in consultation with partners like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, sets revenue collection targets for the following year. This is done to spur performance and meet customer needs. Speaking to QTV, Yankuba Dabo, the Commissioner General of GRA, expressed optimism that the authority will meet the government's 2023 target set at $15.3 billion.
We always try to get the targets that are set for us. And I am happy to tell you that even though we have 1 month to go, but we will get more than 15.2 billion for the country, for the government. So that I should thank the taxpayers and my staffs for that. Because without the taxpayers, we will not get that money. And without my staffs being professional, we will not get it. But as I am sitting here today is the end of the month, November. The figures I'm seeing are very satisfactory. And it tells me that we will get more than 15.2 billion by the end of December.
As of March this year, the authority collected a record $5 billion and over $9 billion in just 7 months. CG Dabo gives credit to the authority's staff, management and board. He also commends the government for providing the enabling environment and for its non-interference in their work.
This country is a tax-based economy. The fact that everything we do, it has to come from GRA. So, and they are the people who provide this money. And therefore we have to thank them and continue thanking them, working with them for the interest of the nation. Because without the payment of the taxes, it will be very difficult for the government also to implement what they want to do. And therefore, I want to thank them as head of this institution. I want to thank the taxpayers for a good job and the compliance level that they are following.
Reflecting on GRA's performance in 2023, Commissioner General Dabo says they registered many achievements. He cites the broadening of the tax base with reform programs such as the digitalization of revenue collection systems, the rollout of a revenue tracking and enhancement program, and its performance within international tax organizations such as the regional tax body WATAF, where he holds the chairmanship, among others, as a testament that the authority is deserving of its current ranking as one of the 5 best performing tax authorities on the continent. Meanwhile, also reflecting on GRA's 2023 performance, Deputy Commissioner General S.R. Jallo commends members of the public and the business community for their compliance. He urged everyone to keep up the momentum as the government relies on the taxes collected to provide services and development programs for the people.
On our part, we are also doing what we can, like the human capacity development. We are doing a lot in that area to make sure that we continually enhance the capacities of the staff. So that is why in all disciplines that are relevant to the work that we are doing, we have created a critical mass of experts in those areas to be able to, help us implement, some of these reforms that he has talked about.
Tax to ensure the country achieves economic sovereignty and self-reliance, GRA has over the years gained a reputation as one of the most efficient national institutions in terms of service delivery. Answane Sonyase for QTV News. Now, the PF initiative under the Ask Bajan initiative a community-led advocacy initiative in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, launched a collection of songs dedicated to advocating against sexual and gender-based violence as part of the 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence. Julian Jai attended the event on Thursday and she files his report.
These advocacy songs have been created to inspire change, promote understanding and encourage dialogue surrounding sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia. The event, which is funded by the UNDP Peace Building Fund, shows powerful performances, insightful discussions, and networking with individuals who are committed to combating sexual and gender-based violence. Every year, women and children rights advocates, governments, and civil society organizations organize campaigns and symposiums to call for the prevention and elimination of violence against women and girls as part of events marking the 16 days of activism, which runs from the 25th of November to the 10th of December. However, despite calls for global action to increase awareness, galvanize advocacy efforts, and share knowledge and innovations to help end all types of violence against women and girls, the practice is still rampant in many countries, including the Gambia. The country recorded a staggering 117 rape cases between January and July this year, according to a situation report issued by Gender Management Information System. The report also revealed that the country registered 310 survivors of gender-based violence across the 8 operational one-stop centers in Kanifing, Banjul, Bakote, Bundung, Birkama, Basse, Bansang, and Buyam. Aisha Balde, Executive Director of Paradise Foundation, gave a brief on the SGBV advocacy songs.
The reason for coming up with the songs was mainly to address issues of the gender-based violence. I think my colleagues Eden and Ofalo alluded to the fact that women don't speak out. Why? Because sometimes the violence is conducted by a family member. It could be an uncle, a brother, or even the father. So, and the first thing that comes to mind is don't break up the family. As a result, women keep quiet. In the society, there are lots of norms that have been normalized.
Nene Toure, Deputy Director at the Ministry of Gender, spoke of the rationale behind the 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence.
You know, we have violence being meted on men, but it's very limited. Most of the violences are meted on women and girls, and they suffer the most.
Here is Bajan Aisatu Sawane, chairperson of the National Women's Council, and asks Bajan on the negative effects of sexual and gender-based violence.
A lot of this backway syndrome that is happening now is being triggered seriously by unstable home, by gender-based violence, because the young boys and the ladies that are sacrificing their life to go through that terrible, heinous journey for greener pastures is because they want to be able to provide for their mothers, number one.
For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
And the report there by Julian Jai will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
For all your electronic cooking utensil needs, worry no more. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution. Deka Killer brings modern, efficient and affordable cooking materials such as gas cookers, heaters, coffee machines, fridges, ceiling and stand fans, among other valuable home and restaurant materials. Located at Serekunda Bambo opposite Sanchapa Garas, Deka Killer is making fun life easier by offering you guaranteed and cost-effective electronic cooking materials. You can contact us on 348-2307 or 728-5372. We are also on Facebook, Deka Killer The Gambia. Email dekakillergambia@gmail.com. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution for all your home appliances and electronic cooking utensil needs. Roast now, Deka Killer, making phone life easier. Deka Killer, everything for cooking. Deka Killer is the right place to be.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fix internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyapus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, thanks for staying with us, and if you're just joining us, be reminded you're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Kairaba Avenue, and I am Answane Nyase. Now, as part of events marking Journalism Students Week, the 7th Executive Council of the Journalism Students Association of the University of the Gambia celebrated Founders Day on Wednesday. Students and the senior journalists at the event engaged in a series of activities, including panel discussions. More in this report. The event is organized annually to pay tribute to founders of the UTG School of Journalism and Digital Media and Gambian media pioneers. It is also used for stock-taking on media freedom in the Gambia and the role of the media in society, amongst other important media-related issues. Speaking on the significance of the day, Dr. Wumi Morolek Adenkule, Dean of the UTG School of Journalism and Digital Media, journalism lecturer Prince Bubakar Aminata Sankano, and Fatou Sow, chairperson of the Journalism Students Association Week, tells students the university is preparing them to become responsible journalists whose work will have a great impact on society. Hence the need for them to learn from veteran journalists, especially those who contributed significantly to ensuring that the media today enjoys freedoms they did not have during their time.
The kind of journalism that promotes peace, so that when you have any news item, you just don't rush to the press with what you have. You have to ask yourself, that's responsible journalism. That is it going to promote peace? What is it going to do to the society?
We are here to accompany you, to prepare you for the challenges of our society. And you are lucky at your time you have a university, and the government that I work for has a political will to ensure that, and the skills that you learn, you acquire it either in the journalism field or in the communication field.
In recent years, the Gambia has made significant strides towards press freedom. We have seen a more diverse and vibrant media landscape emerge, providing opportunities for different perspectives to be heard. However, we must also recognize the challenges that still exist and work together to overcome them.
Following the speeches, there was a panel discussion on the topic Understanding Media Freedom in the Gambia. Guest speakers Mohamed Esba, President of the Gambia Press Union, Senior Journalist Sana Kamara, and Vice President of the School of Journalism and Digital Media, Kadi Kombosedi, deliberated on the challenges journalists faced in the Gambia, including persecution, arbitrary arrests, extrajudicial killings, amongst others, during the First and Second Republics. And while acknowledging that there has been improvement in media freedom in the Gambia from 2017, they also stressed that there are still challenges.
The criminal code, it is still existing. It was enacted in 1933. You have laws like the Telegraph Act that was enacted around the 1920s. You have the 1818 laws that are still existing in this country. You have the public order.
Journalism is not like how it used to be before. We are competing for breaking news with ordinary people. Anybody with a cell phone can be a journalist. Anyone who has access to internet can be a journalist. So what makes you different from those people? It's your training, it's your education, okay? But the person who is not trained, is not educated, has no idea what kind of news is going to threaten the peace and stability of the country.
So young people have a role to play. In as much as we want to get there, we want to get people to know that yes, I am this and that, reporting for QTV News, reporting for GRTS News, but we have to get the work done right.
The Gambian media played a crucial role in ending colonial rule and in documenting historical national events. From informing and educating the public to providing entertainment, the media in the Gambia has played a major role over the years in advancing national development. But like in every sphere of life, the media too still faces many challenges. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News. Now, livestock feeding has long rather been a challenge for many farmers due to seasonal variations in the availability and the cost of feed. To tackle this, the government through the Ministry of Agriculture has started a project to establish 600 pasture fields countrywide where the seed will be cultivated as a source of livestock feed in the Gambia. Mohamed Lamin Choi tells us more.
Livestock owners are going to have their work made easier by this project. Thanks to this government project, farmers won't have to incur much cost or trek several kilometers in search of pastures to feed their animals. This is a 1-hectare pasture field in Sarepate village, which has been established through the project. Here is the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali.
This pasture is supposed to be able to feed a whole lot of animals, that is the sheep and goats and preferably also cattle. This pasture is high in nutrient and what it can survive both the rainy season and the dry season. Also, it can be harvested. I think you people have seen the bundles down there. The goal is, right now we have 20 that are complete nationwide. We are going to be rolling about 600 of them nationwide for individual farmers. The good thing is these seeds are available for every farmer in the Gambia that is interested to collect and do it at your own level. It can survive both rainy season and dry season. Of course, it will be best if there is water, but it will still survive.
Such a project is innovative in a country where livestock owners struggle to feed their animals. During the dry season, livestock are left wandering around searching for feed, resulting in low livestock productivity and sometimes leading to a death of a large number of them. Jidado Dem, the village head of Sarepade, and Ibrahima Jallo, the president of the Gambia Livestock Owners Association, hopes that their challenge of livestock feeding will be lifted. We want this benefit to reach other communities who are cattle herders. These grasses are very important for animals, such as cows, sheep, goats, horses, and donkeys. We used to face challenges in feeding our animals because during the dry season, all the grasses will be burnt. But with such a farm, our livestock can feed anytime. With such a pasture field, our livestock can feed anytime. We believe that livestock farming was marginalized, but your government has restored our hopes. Since you brought us the small ruminant project, you lifted livestock rearing in the Gambia. What we are able to achieve from the small ruminant project will help improve herding. Water is a challenge everywhere for livestock owners. I know you and your minister will find sustainable ways for the project. After inspecting the pasture field, President Barrow speaks to the press about his impression of the project.
I think this is one of the solutions, because it has always been a challenge feeding animals, especially during dry season. It has always been a big problem. Even during rainy season, it has been a problem because our cattle used to migrate to Casamas during the rainy season because they don't have grazing areas. This is specifically designed for it, and it is fenced. That means they are enclosed. I think this is a very good initiative, and I need to be supported, from the highest level, to the local level, to the community level.
The Meet the People tour shows farmers in high anticipation for the fruits of government's drive to transform the agriculture sector. This will require more investment and innovative strategies for the much anticipated results to be realized. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
And from the report there by Mohamed Lamin Choi, now on to news from beyond our borders. Now, in line with the laws of the ECOWAS Parliament, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Aliu Toure, presented to the ECOWAS Parliament on Thursday the report on the state of affairs in the ECOWAS community. As Alusise report from Abuja, Nigeria, the President is required to do so at each ordinary parliamentary session.
The report highlights, among other things, the macroeconomic situation of the region and performance of the ECOWAS institutions with regard to their 2023 work programs and their regional integration and program agenda globally. Dr. Omar Aliu Toure, President of the ECOWAS Commission, tells ECOWAS parliamentarians that despite a difficult international environment and the slowdown in the global economies, most of the member states have posted impressive economic growth.
The period under review
was characterized by the continuation of geopolitical conflicts, persistent inflationary pressures, high and rising public debt, as well as tight, restrictive monetary policies in most regions.
Regarding the status of implementation of community work programs, President Toure said some notable results have been achieved. On the political stability, peace and security, the issues that dominated attention of the community during the year were the political transitions in the three member states affected by coup d'etat, namely Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso, the attempted coup in Niger Republic, terrorism in the Sahel and elections.
The ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government demonstrated strong commitment to these issues and took far-reaching decisions during their extraordinary summits as well as during their ordinary summits.
At the level of deepening regional economic integration, the ECOWAS Commission had informed community lawmakers that significant progress has been made, including the establishment of the ECOWAS National Biometric Identity Card and the introduction of EcoVisa, a single visa system similar to the Schengen visa.
So far, 6 member states, namely Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Ghana, Benin, and the Gambia, as well as Sierra Leone, have deployed the ECOWAS biometric system. In addition, over 350 participants from ECOWAS member states were trained on the trade facilitation measures to strengthen their capacity to address obstacles to trade and promote the efficient movement of goods across borders in the region.
On the promotion of a common market and private sector development in the region, the ECOWAS Regional Competition Authority is strengthening competition in the region. In particular, it has carried out cross-border investigations, market studies, and formulated recommendations to combat anti-competitive practices while offering technical and financial support to member states to strengthen their national competition laws.
Within the framework of the inclusive and sustainable development, the Commission continued to implement programs and initiatives in favor of vulnerable populations. These include support for voluntary returns of 299 stranded migrants, delivery of 230 metric tons of food for vulnerable children.
The presentation was followed by members' reactions to the current state of affairs in the sub-region, with most emphasis on the latest coup attempt in Sierra Leone, which members hailed ECOWAS for deploying a mission to show solidarity with the people of Sierra Leone. Members called for stringent actions to bring an end to any attempt of unconstitutional change of government. Reporting for QTV News from Abuja, Nigeria, I am Aliu Sise.
And I'm afraid this is where we draw the curtains on this bulletin. On behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching. Do join us tomorrow same time. Bye-bye.